Hello, good morning to you. If you can see and hear my presentation, kindly type in high extreme speed in the comment section. Hello, 577. Good morning to you. Nam NG, good morning. Hey, Carrie, good morning. All right, thanks for the confirmation. Hello, Gunja. Good morning to you. Abdel Agfar. Abdel Abdel Ghaffar. Abdul Ghaffar, I guess that is it. Good morning. Thank you for the confirmation. A359. Hi, how are you? It appears you're a little bit early today. Anonge, good morning. I see you. Three five now. I'm glad to hear you. Good. All right. Cisco, hello. Tai Tai, hello. How are you? Leo 37, good morning. Leo 037, is that loud and messy? Okay, Lam Lam. Hi there, how are you today? Glad to have you around. So, with no further ado, let's dive into the chat and let's see what's happening. So, once again, I want to welcome you all to another beautiful session of Extra Speed Life with my humble self, Sheriff Daramola, and I will be here to take you on a journey where we shall be looking at the charts, evaluating the price action, trend lines, and chart patterns, and using this information to look out for trading opportunities that are lining up for us as we head into the New York session. And at the same time, we'll also look at what we did yesterday. We deliberated on like four pairs yesterday. We are going to be looking at each of this pair and let's see how well they are doing and what plans do we have, what plans do we need to do to make on this pair going forward. So in that regard, I would like to tune into the charts and let's see what is happening. Mew, hi, how are you? 471, hi. Jankra Senses, hi. Okay, so let's go into the chart and let's see what's happening. So the first pair we deliberated on yesterday was on the US oil, and on the US oil we had a scenario where we were looking at a bullish momentum here on the US oil. And one thing I made mention of during the course of yesterday's live session was that we had a key level which was sitting right at $106.50, which you can see here. We had that key level sitting here, and we were saying that if we have price oscillating right above that key level, we want to buy. And if we see price oscillating right below the key level, we want to sell. And in addition to that, I also identified three parameters that we will be using to guide our actions going forward. And one of the parameters is the bullish trend line here, which the green line we can see here. We identified this yesterday and we said if we see price respecting that bullish trend line, we could take a bullish trade. And prior to opening the live session yesterday, there was an opportunity that was already running, and this was the opportunity here that was already running prior to the live session yesterday. And I made mention of, if we see a retest of structure, either the purple line or the key level, we could take advantage of that move. And lo and behold, that happened and the move went on to the upside. So if you are taking that move, kudos to you. So that means the entry point will have been around this area. Yes, and we should be having a stop loss right below the key level, and with an entry point right above here. As soon as we had that retest of structure, then we take advantage of that move at 106.72, and which happened. And presently, if you are taking that trade, you will be in how many pips in profit now? We will be in over 450 pips in profit at this point in time. So for you, once again, congratulations to you. If you are taking that chance, if you're taking that opportunity, congratulations to you. So going forward, what do we need to do here on the US oil? So allow me to delete this, as this is no longer relevant. Let me delete this one too, so that we can have a clean chart. So we have the scenario here, and we have something like this. So what are we going to be doing now as price has come back into where price was at last week? Price was at around $110 last week before we saw that bearish momentum. We can see how price that was oscillating, cutting a consolidation phase around this area last week before we saw that bearish impulse leg to the downside. And now we can see that price is back into that level, retested it and broke above that level, giving me a sign that the bullish momentum still have some space on the upside. So now going into the New York session today, how are we going to take advantage of this move for those who missed out on this trend? Well, I would say for now it's going to be very, very difficult if you are not taking advantage of that move yesterday, as we could only wait for price to come into that bullish trend line. That is, we see a breakdown of the structure, price comes into this bullish trend line, after which we look for patterns on lower time frame that supports a trend continuation to the upside. For now, I think that's the only way we could take advantage of any bullish move. However, if we do see a significant move to the upside from this area, we see a bullish engulfing candle to the upside, and then price rejects the $113 area for an example, and we see a retest of this $110, $111 area, then we can be looking out for patterns on lower time frame to join the trend continuation to the upside. So these are the two possibilities I can see at this point. And for those, before I forget, for those who are taking advantage of that bullish move to the upside yesterday, it's going to be appropriate that we move our stop loss to somewhere around $109, which will dovetail to, let me see how many pips is that, $109. That's around 232. So let's make it 250. Yeah, let's 109.50 cents will be most appropriate. 109.50 cents. Yes, around this area. So that's about 270 pips for now. So let's have we have something like this. So we have our stop loss right here. So stop loss is red. Let's give it a red and let's see how price plays out as we head into the New York session. So if we do have structures that looks like this, like I said, we have a significant breakout of that area, price comes back to do a retest of the structure, we can take advantage of the trend continuation to the upside. And if you are not in that trade, that's a welcome opportunity for you to take advantage of a move to the upside. And if you're already in the trade, this is an opportunity to add one more position to this trade. So our take profit target still remains at $116 for now, at least for this week. Let's see how price plays out, which gives us roughly over 900 pips to catch on this one. So this is what we're going to be looking out for as we head into the New York session on the US oil. Are there any questions whatsoever? Are there any questions? You need clarifications? Pep80, good morning to you. Tommy Cat, hi. 709, hi to you too as well. 014, hello. 740, hi. Black B9, hi. So, are there any questions? I'll be giving, let's say, 10 seconds to see if we have questions on the US oil or opinions, suggestions, or all right. In the absence of none, we will want to move on to the next pair. So, what's the next pair here? Or we have the UK oil. The next pair is the UK oil. And on the UK oil also, we have a similar scenario. If you are taking advantage of that move, kudos to you as well. And we can see during the course of yesterday's live session, we were around this area, and we saw price come down to retest that key level at $112 during the New York session, and we saw those move to the upside, giving us about how many pips right now? We have about over 500 pips running in profit on the UK oil, which is on a good note, and that means we started this week on a good note on the oil commodities. So let's delete this as we no longer need that. So we don't need that anymore. So that's that. Let's delete this. So let's have a very clear and beautiful chart. So now, I'm not sure how, if anyone has missed this, could take advantage of a move on this one at this point. If you had missed this, I'm so sorry. As for us to take any move right now, we will be waiting for price to come back into either the bullish trend line on the daily time frame or the bullish trend line we identified yesterday, after which we look for patterns on lower time frame that supports a trend continuation to the upside. However, I don't think this is going to happen anytime this week, but we never can tell because markets can be a little bit creepy sometimes and will surprise you. So if that opportunity comes for us, that is, we see price come into either the bullish trend line here on the daily time frame or the bullish trend line we identified yesterday here on the 1 hour time frame, then we can be looking for patterns that supports a trend continuation on lower time frame to join the rally to the upside. So, and let me see. Okay, we have another structure we can look out for at this point at around $116. And if I bring up my line chart here, we can see that this area that has held price resisted for some time, that is, this area has been a supply zone for like 3 months before we saw the breakout in the month of May and the retest in the month of June. And right now, price has come back into this area, breaking that area to the upside. As we can see, during the last 24 hours, price has just broke out of that supply zone, giving us a clue into the bullish potential that is present in the market right now. So if we look left, we can see a structure, we can see a point around that $116 area that has been a support twice in the past, and then we can see that this area also has been a resistance point, I think like 3 4 times in the past, and then we had one here the sixth time. So that area appears to be more of a significant level that has been a major determinant of price action, as price, whenever price comes into that area, it either pushes it up or it pushes it down. So what I want to be doing here is to connect this area together. So if we connect this area together, we'll have something like this, and let me give this a purple instead, and we would, okay, we have something like this. So what I want to be looking out for is this. The first thing I will say here is we want to move our stop loss to right below this area. That is right about around maybe 115.50. I think yes, 115.50 appears to be most appropriate to move our stop loss to, so that we can give room for price if price is trying to come down. And if we move our stop loss into that area, we'll be having, I think, how many pips is that? That's about over 300 pips. So at this point in time, we had the breakout of this area. If we look on the 15 minutes time frame, hold on a second. If we look out on the 15 minutes time frame, we saw the breakout of this key level, of this temporary key level that I have identified with that purple line, and we saw multiple rejection of that level, giving us a sign that this level has become a demand niche for participants in the market, and we saw the final one here, which pushed price further up. So unfortunately, I was not with you guys to be able to identify this, but if you are taking that move, well done for having that good sight. And one thing I want to be looking out for here is this: for those who missed that move, at least this move to the upside, well, we might be waiting to see if price will do another retest of this area. Then we look for patterns on lower time frame that supports a trend continuation to join the rally to the upside. And if you're already in this trade already, that will welcome an opportunity to add one more position to this trade. So that is the scenario I'm having here on the US oil, on the UK oil, and our take profit target still remains at $120, dovetailing to over 750 pips to catch on this one. So if you are taking that move, kudos to you, and let's see how price plays out during the New York session. Remember, I told you that if price comes back into this bullish trend line, we could be looking for patterns to join a trend continuation to the upside. So this is my scenario here, and let's hope things plays out accordingly, as we expect price to hit our take profit target during the New York session today, hopefully. So that is my scenario here on the UK oil. Are there any questions? I'll surrender 10 seconds for that while I look through the comment section to see if there are Kings 007 wants me to talk about the Bitcoin. Okay, I'll pen that down right away, and after taking the other two pairs that we deliberated on yesterday, we will move on to the Bitcoin. So Kings 007, I just done that. I penned that down. Marilena, good morning to you too as well. All right, okay. So in the absence of none, we'd like to move on to the next pair we shared yesterday. So the pair we talked about yesterday was the AUD USD. And on the AUD USD, I made mention of how we were expecting a bullish momentum on this pair. And we were around this area during yesterday's live session. I think we were around here during yesterday's live session. We are here during yesterday's live session, and I made mention of how a rejection of that key level will sprout an opportunity to enter this trade. Though I told you I was already in that trade yesterday, and we can see how the 0.6900 area was respected multiple times. And I also identified this area where I said if price breaks above and do a retest of that area, you could actually join. So in any ways, you would have been in this trade either from the 0.6900 area or from the 0.69320 area. So right now, price is running with about, I have like how many positions running here? I have one, two, three, four. I have four positions running on the pair, and we have almost like our first position is running about 29 pips, and the second position, third position, so approximately we should be having around 60 to 70 pips running at this point in time. So right now, if you are in this trade, I want you to move your stop loss to break even at this point, as there is a possibility that price could come back down to do a retest of that bullish trend line we identified here on the hourly time frame, after which we could see a trend continuation to the upside. So just move your stop loss to break even at this point, and if price continue to go further to the upside, then we can become more comfortable on this trade. So things are still really a little bit very slow this week, as we still had, okay, we only have 2 days of the week already, and things are still very slow. And if we look at the economic calendar, we do have major events for tomorrow, as the Fed Chair Powell is going to speak, and it's also a very high impact event that would definitely have an impact on the market. And this might, and you can look at what's happening tomorrow too. The governor, BOE governor, is going to speak. Then the president of the ECB too is going to speak. So tomorrow is more or less a very high packed day. So this might be a clue into the reason why the market has been very slow lately. So participants are actually waiting for catalysts to move price action. So because of this, it's required that we need to be very patient on all the forex pairs, as tomorrow might we need to just look for setups that will align with whatever comes out tomorrow. So for the AUD USD, I'm still expecting a bullish momentum here, and let's see how price plays out during the New York session. Our take profit target, well, it depends on you. I've actually mapped out a zone for a take profit target, and the zone is around 0.70600 and 0.7200 area. And at least you'll be having a minimum of 150 pips to catch on this one if price moves as expected here on the AUD USD. Please note that if price is below the key level at 0.6900, we do not want to take any buy position. That is, this, if we see price breaking down this key level, we don't want to buy unless we see price come back above that key level, do a retest of structure, and move to the upside. So that is our scenario here on the AUD USD. Any questions whatsoever? Metal Slug X, hi to you, good morning. I see you. How are you doing today? I think I didn't see you yesterday, I guess. I didn't see you yesterday, I'm sure. Marilena, good morning. Okay, I greeted you earlier. 0857, hi. Moise82, glad to have you around. Hi. The Bills, hi. Good morning to you. Moise 82, do you have any questions today? Or is there a pair you want us to look out for? Okay, so let's move on to the next pair. So the next pair we will be talking about is the Euro USD. And on the Euro USD yesterday, I made mention of how I'm expecting a bullish momentum as well. And because of what happened during the course of yesterday's trading session, at least the New York session, I saw this level, I saw the breakout of this level, I saw the breakout of this level, and price came back into this area. So I took half my normal position size, and I'm waiting for price to break above this key level at 1.06, after which I'll be looking for a retest of structure to add more position to this trade. So Euro USD is still going as planned, and I expect that breakout to happen anytime soon, probably tomorrow. And like I told you, market has been quite a little bit slow for the forex pairs, and this can be accredited to the 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 events lining up for tomorrow. And most participants in the market are actually waiting to see how that event is going to impact the market, hence the waiting. And as we can see consolidation phase in the market right now. So what I want to be looking out for here on the Euro USD is for a breakout of that key level at 1.0600, after which I see a retest of structure to do a confirmation of that bullish trend continuation to the upside. So take profit target, the first one is at 1.0700, around this area. That's about from above the key level is about how many pips? That's around 100 pips. And then upon a long-term perspective, I'm looking at within the 1.078 and 1.1 area as our long-term perspective take profit target. So this is my scenario here on Euro USD. I'm still expecting a bullish momentum, and we have parameters guiding our actions. We have the bullish trend line we identified here on your screen. You can see the black dotted line. Then we have the key level, as we want to continue to see price right above both the key level and the bullish trend line to be comfortable of any buying opportunity here on the Euro USD. However, if we do see a break below of this bullish trend line, then a retest of structure could send price crashing to the downside. So until that happens, we still hold our bullish bias here on the Euro USD. So King 007 says that we should look at the BTC USD, which I will be looking at presently. I think I did a speculation on the BTC USD last week, and I gave two scenarios where I was expecting either a bullish momentum or a bearish momentum on the BTC USD. And during that session, I think this is what I had during that session we had last week. And what we had is that we have this key level at $21,000 area, which we are looking forward to see price break above. Hold on a second. I want to make this a little bit. So we had the 120 the $21,000 area as our key level during my analysis last week, where I said we were actually looking at something like a double top structure around this area. That is, we have a reversal pattern. We are looking forward to probably a breakdown of this neckline, then a retest of structure that could send price going to the downside. So none of that happened. And we have the scenario right now. As you can see, since that last week, price has been consolidating with no clear picture of where price wants to head in the nearest future. So what I'll be suggesting at this point is that we should allow this key level to be our guide. So if we are going to see a bullish momentum here on the BTC USD, we want to see price do a significant break above of that $21,000 area, probably to around $22,500. Then we see a retest of structure. That is a retest of that $21,000 level, where we look out for patterns on lower time frame that supports a trend continuation to the upside. So this is the first scenario here on the BTC USD. However, if price continue to oscillate right below that key level at $21,000, then definitely you want to be looking out for structures that will support a trend continuation to the downside. And for me personally, what I'll be looking out for is if we see a breakdown of the $20,000 area. Hold on a second. So what I want to be looking out for any selling opportunity here is if price breaks down my $20,000 area. That is, I want to see price break down this level. Then we see a retest of structure to join the decline to the downside. So those are the two scenarios I'm looking out for. And I would have said we should enter here, but I wouldn't do that because we can see after price rejected this $20,000 level, we can see price continue to find higher low. You see higher low, and price is right around this area, and it's came down into this level. So okay, I think I'm beginning to see something here. Let's zoom into this closely and let's see. Let's zoom into this closely. So breaking down of 20,800 is not yet significantly broken to the downside. You can see this area has been a demand zone in the last 3 to 4 days. We can see how price has been rejecting this level. Price has been rejecting this level multiple times. So sincerely, I don't want to sell here. I will only want to sell when I see a breakdown of this 20,000 mark. The reason why that is the 20,000 mark is obviously a very strong psychological level. As if price goes below that 20,000 mark, I'm very sure fear will grip the market, and out of fear, people might want to dump the Bitcoin, and that could spiral to the downside in that regard. So $20,000 remains an area where I want to be looking out for selling opportunities. And the $21,000 area above $21,000 remain an area where I want to be looking out for buying opportunity here on the Bitcoin. So if you are buying on the Bitcoin, I have around $26,000 as my take profit target. We identified a buying zone around that we're around a take profit target zone around between the 25,500 and the $29,000 area. And the reason why that is, if we go up into the daily time frame, we can see why that is. If you look closely into the structure, we see here on the daily time frame, we saw this impulse leg. Sorry, let me redraw it so that you can see what I'm talking about. We saw this impulse leg to the downside, and we all understand that after every impulse leg, there is always a retracement phase into the golden zone area, after which price could go further to the downside or probably break above that area at around $29,000 area. So in the meantime, we're looking forward to price coming into this area. That is our take profit target within this area. So let's go back to our 4 hours time frame. So my selling opportunity, if we are selling, then we should have a take profit target within the $16,000 area, or probably this bearish trend line that was identified on the daily time frame. We look for a take profit target within that area. So this is the perspective you're asking for on the BTC USD. King 007, I don't know if you have questions. I'll give 10 seconds for that. If you have any questions whatsoever, type it in the comment section and I'll be willing to look at it and let's see what we can do on this one. Scan has come again this morning with US oil. We already did US oil. Remember, we always do US oil and UK oil first here on the forum, after which we take the forex pairs. And if you had missed the US oil and UK oil, the early pairs we did this morning, then I would suggest you wait till the later part of the session when I will do a recap of what we talked about. 511, good morning. 603, good morning to you. Yanjara, hello, how are you? Sidali, hello. Dino, hi. 571 says loves you. Okay, love you too. 584, good morning. 571, good morning. Hello. Modish, good morning. Is King 007 still in the house? If you are, please signify that you're around and confirm that you require no further clarifications. Stone, good morning. A chance to check Tech 100. Tech 100. Okay, let's see if we can do that from a technical perspective. All right. It appears King 007 is no longer in the house. So it's okay. So let's move on to the next pair, which is, let's see what we can talk about before time goes. Okay, the GBP JPY. Is it GBP JPY or AED JPY? Let me talk about AED JPY. I think I'm already in profit on that AUD JPY. So on the AUD JPY, I personally am already in profit on AUD JPY, but I still think you still have an opportunity here to take advantage of that bullish trend continuation. Now, what the first thing we observe here, oh sorry. The first thing we observe here on the first thing we observe here on the AUD JPY is that price has been trending since May last month, and we can see how price has been respecting that bullish trend line since then. We can see price continue to find higher lows and higher highs from this area. And at this point between on the 15th of June, we can see that the traction to the upside reduced, but we can see that that bullish trend line is still being respected, giving me a clue that buyers are still very, very strong at this juncture in the market. Now, the other criteria we're looking at on this AUD is that since the beginning of the month of June, we saw this impulsive move to the upside, and as soon as price tested 96.900 area, we saw a retracement wave that saw price reject the 92, 93 Japanese yen area multiple times, making this area our new demand zone going forward. So we have this, you can see our price has been rejecting that demand zone. And interestingly, the demand zone is sitting right around that bullish trend line, giving us a further clue into how strong buyers are at this juncture in the market. So with this information in hand, we need something to guide our actions going into the new week. So what I did was to identify a key level at 94 Japanese yen area. And the reason why this key level was identified here is this. If we look left, we can see that this area is at one point in time being a very strong demand zone. As anytime price comes into this area, it pushed price to the upside before we saw a breakdown of this area during the mid of the month. And after which this area had been a resistant point, resistant before the breakout again, then price came back down again to make it a resistant at this point, resistant. And now you can see the bullish signal has finally happened in the last 24 hours. So what did we see in the last 8 hours? What we saw now, we saw this bullish engulfing candle breaking through that key level at 94 Japanese yen. I'm already in profit on this one sincerely. I took one here, I tested water at this area, right at the rejection of that bullish trend line. Then I got another one triggered right above that key level. So since we already have a signal in the form of a breakout of structure, then we want to be looking out for a retest of structure to join the potential rally to the upside. So at this point, patience is hereby required. Now, if we look at structure, if we come here, we can see this impulsive move, and we see something like a reversal pattern. Price tested that key level at 94 Japanese yen, then broke down, rejected it and come down. Notice how it found a new higher low. Price was unable to break the previous low. So after which we saw a breakout of the neckline. The key level right now at 94 Japanese yen now becomes the neckline. So we don't know how far this bullish move is going to go before we see a retest of structure on lower time frame, after which we look out for reversal patterns to join the trend continuation to the upside. So on this one, I would suggest that we remain very, very patient as we want to see price come back into the key level at 94 to give us a confirmation to join the rally. However, if you are already in this trade, kudos to you. A retest of structure should give us an opportunity to add more position to this trade. In fact, the AUD has much tendency to have multiple entries here on this pair, as we could have here right above 94.7, 95.330 area, and so on and so forth. So where's our take profit target at the moment? From a long-term perspective, our take profit target remains at 99 Japanese yen, which dovetails to roughly over 500 pips. And how did we get 99 Japanese yen as our take profit target? It's very simple. If we look left, we can see that we have an impulse leg here. We have an impulse leg, and if we project that impulse leg into, if we project that impulse leg into the future and using our Fibonacci extension tool, and we aim at a 127.2% of that previous impulse leg, we have around 99 Japanese yen as our take profit target. So I'm looking forward to that area. I'm not sure that will happen this week, but in the next couple of weeks, we should be able to get to that area if price breaks above the 95.2 area. So for the meantime, we could place our take profit target around 96.5 or 97 area, which dovetails to, let me see, from our key level, dovetails to about over 250 pips to catch here. So this is one scenario on the AUD and I look forward to things working according to plan as we head into the New York session. Are there any questions on the AUD that needs further clarifications? If you need further clarifications, you can type it in the comment section and I'll be very willing to be of help. 147 says is new here and needs some help. What kind of help do you require? We're actually here to help you, and that's why I'm sharing my ideas with you so that you can use it, can help you in making your own individual decision when you want to trade. So let's take one more pair before we call it a day. So on the GBP USD, this is what let's take a GBP USD as our last pair for the day. So on the GBP USD, what do we have here on the GBP USD? Obviously, if you go to the daily time frame, we all understand that the GBP USD has been on a long-term bearish momentum, at least since the beginning of the year. The pound has been running on a decline against the USD. However, for us to trade for this week, we need to go to a much lower time frame, let's say the 4 hours time frame, where we want to be looking for an opportunity to take advantage of. So the first thing I want to be, you will see here on the 4 hours time frame. In fact, it is a simple setup we have here on the GBP USD. We have the impulse leg that started at the beginning of the month of June. We saw the impulse leg price has been trending to the lower side, and immediately price tested 1.19350. We saw a move to the upside, 1.24 area, a very strong psychological level, and since then price has been consolidating between the 1.23 area and the 1.22 area. As you can see, we have the supply zone, we have the demand, supply, demand. As the consolidation phase continues, we can see the contraction continues to tighten, and because of this, I drew this. We had this trend line, and we have this bullish trend line here, we have this bearish trend line here. So what I'm looking out for, I was actually looking out for either breakout of structure, either to the side, a breakout to the side, or a breakdown from the side. However, with the way things are looking at the moment, I am thinking of a selling opportunity. And why is that? If we look at the prior leading price action, that is this impulsive bearish momentum, and a retracement into this area, and if you see what has been happening here at around 1.23 area, it has been a supply zone for quite a while. Since on the 12th of June, it has been a supply zone. Even when anytime price comes into this area, we see sharp rejection of this area to the downside. So what I did here was to identify a key level that will guide our action going forward. So in fact, I will advise that if you are not in this trade, and you might want to take advantage of that opportunity right now. So as I'm looking at my screen now, before I enter this session, I had a pending order right at 1.22493, which has already been triggered at this point. And to make things more simpler for us going into the New York session, I want to identify a key level that we will be using as our guide going forward. So if we look left, we can see that we have around 1.22600 area. Let me see. 1.26, is it 1.26? 1.227 appears to be a key level that we should be using as our guide going forward. So 1.227 appears to be most appropriate at this point. So let's label it for the sake of clarity. So we have a key level sitting at 1.227 area. So let's place it at the right hand side of our screen. Okay, make it gold, and we have something like this. So with the key level sitting at 1.22700, we want to see price continue to oscillate right below that key level to be comfortable of any selling momentum here on the GBP USD. So I'm looking forward to, if you had missed this, I'm thinking that in the future, there's still going to be one more retest of the structure, that is the key level, which also shares a conference with that bearish trend line, after which we look for patterns on lower time frame that supports a trend continuation to the downside. In fact, this area, this trade, this pair has a tendency of multiple entries, though we have a demand zone here. So one thing I'll be suggesting at this point is this: if price comes close to the demand zone, we want to move our stop loss to break even, so that we don't get caught out with unnecessary spikes from this demand zone. So I'm looking forward to my take profit target to be at 1.21 area, which is around 150 pips. And let's see how price plays out from this point. So this is my scenario here on the GBP USD. So let's see what happens as we go into the New York session. So I will advise that you be on standby, be on alert, so that you don't miss these opportunities when they come. And also you can screenshot my screen so that you can use that as a reference point whenever you want to make your individual decision. So this is what I'll be this is where I'll be saying I think this is a full stop for today. We're already out of time. It's 12 o'clock on my time, and let's quickly do a recap of what we talked about so far. So the first pair we talked about was the US oil, where we are already in profit on this one, and I made mention that we should move our stop loss to around $109.50, and I said for those who missed this opportunity, you could wait for price to come into this bullish trend line before you take advantage of a trend continuation, or you wait for price to come into the price to significantly break above this level. That is, break above this level, then come back to retest this area at $110.50. Then we can join the rise to the upside. So then we moved on to the UK oil, where we also have a similar scenario, and we're already running in profit on this one. Apparently we're running with about how many pips now? We are over 450 pips in profit at the moment, and I told you to move your stop loss to $115.50, after which we want to see how price plays out. And for those who missed this trade, I said we could be looking out for a retest of this level at $116 area, where we look for patterns on lower time frame to join the rally to the upside, or if there is a possibility that price breaks down this area, then we might want to be looking at our bullish trend line to take advantage of that trend continuation to the upside. Our take profit target still remains at $120 at this point. Then we moved on to the AUD USD, where I'm still expecting that bullish momentum to happen, and I told you to move all stop loss to break even at this point, as there is a possibility that price could still come back down into this bullish trend line we identified on the 1 hour time frame before that bullish momentum happens. And you can see since the beginning of the week, price has been consolidating, and I told you how I explained to you how the market has been very slow, because most participants in the market are waiting for that catalyst that might probably come in tomorrow, as tomorrow has different major event release that could push price on either side. So we need to be very, very patient here. So we move our stop loss to break even, and if price continues to respect the key level at 0.6900, we continue to expect bullish momentum here on the AUD USD. Then we moved on to the Euro USD, where a similar scenario is identified here also. And I told you I already had an entry here, and personally I've moved my stop loss to break even, as I'm still expecting price to break above the scale level at 1.0600, a retest of structure, then patterns of the lower time frame to join the rally to the upside. So I'm still expecting a bullish momentum on this one as long as price does not break down that bullish trend line. Then we moved on to the AUD where I also emphasized the bullish momentum I'm expecting here. And I'm already in this trade after positions running. One here, which I tested waters with. Then at the breakout of that key level at 94 Japanese yen. So what I'm saying is that for those who have missed this trade, we want to be looking out for price to come and retest that key level or this bullish trend line. Then we look for patterns on the lower time frame that supports a trend continuation to the upside. So we have our take profit targets on a long-term perspective at $99, 99 Japanese yen, sorry. And I told you that at least for this week, we should just place our stop loss at around 96.5 or 97 Japanese yen, which will dovetail to around over 250 pips to catch on the AUD JPY. Then we moved on to talk about the GPUSD, where I told you my position has been triggered. That we have a simple setup here on the hourly time frame, where we have this impulsive move to the downside. Price does a retracement, going through a consolidation phase, and anytime price comes into the supply zone at 1.23 area, we see a sharp rejection of that area, pushing price to the downside. So I'm thinking that this is going to happen as price continues to find lower highs. So in that regard, we have our entry points at 1.22493, and I told you that I'm still expecting a retest of the key level, and if that happens, I want to add one more position to my trade to push price further down. And another thing I told you to take to be conscious of is this demand zone here, that as soon as price enters the demand zone, we want to move our stop loss to break even, as we don't want to get stuck in a situation where bullish spike comes in and we are caught unawares. So we have a take profit target sitting at 1.211 area, which is dovetailing to about 150 pips to catch here on the GBP USD. Then King 007 asked after the BTC USD, which I quickly shared my thoughts on. And on the BTC USD, we moved to the 4 hours time frame, where we were looking at a long-term perspective, and we had a key level sitting at $21,000 area that will be our yardstick going forward. So what am I saying here? I said that if we have a breakout of that key level at $21,000, then a retest of that structure, we'll be looking out for patterns on lower time frame to join the rally to the upside. We have a take profit target sitting between $24,500 and $29,000 area. However, if we are looking for a selling momentum, I want to see price break down the $20,000 area, which I tell you is if price breaks below $20,000, this could send a signal of fear into the participant in the market, and people might be scared of holding the Bitcoin, so they want to drop the Bitcoin, and price might fall further down into this bearish trend line that we identified here. So take profit target sitting at $16,000 for any selling opportunity here on the Bitcoin. So this is where we are calling it a day, and I'm so glad to be around with you guys. Thank you very much for being with me too. I look forward to seeing you same here tomorrow, and I hope things work well so that when we come here tomorrow, we'll come here on a positive note. So thank you for being around, and I wish you best of luck during the New York session.